Okay, that's for you. That's because your hands are out for them. You're like, come to us. I'll grab them right before we start. Okay. So welcome. Well, everybody get situated. You're looking for another?
Yeah, my friend's coming. She should be, I don't know.
Oh, don't worry. We can let her in. We won't start right this minute.
Okay.
And thank you all for joining live. And, you know, the theme of Friday morning meditation is all about prosperity and abundance. So I separate them because you can have a lot of prosperity and material possessions, but maybe having a lack of abundance as far as health, joy, love, whatever it may be. So if you separate it and you look at that, everybody can kind of fit in and get something out of it, because this is really about being more fulfilled and looking at where are there blocks, where are there issues, where are there obstacles in your life, or patterns that maybe reoccur that if we pull them out and we start to shift, your life can literally become different. Okay, so I like to always go around and share, if you notice certain things that are patterns in your life, if you notice certain things that are kind of always occurring, or blocks that you feel that you're pushing up against the wall a lot of times, your struggles, your blocks, or your patterns in regards to prosperity and abundance and what you're trying to achieve, I like you to share it so that we can custom guide this gear this meditation towards what it is that this collective group is really trying to achieve. Okay, so who wants to go first? Anybody?
Sure, I'll go.
Okay.
I have an issue with living outside of my means.
Okay, so
every time I get out of it, I do it again. So.
So it doesn't matter, even if you make more money, you just continue to live outside of it, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And do you have a challenging time manifesting or creating money, or is it just managing it?
More managing it. My job's weird and seasonal and on call, so sometimes I don't know how much that's entering into it, but when stuff falls away, usually other things come in.
Okay. So we're going to expand a little bit more on the abundance, but also allowing you to see what it is that you truly want and finding the value to create those things instead of impulsively buying or spending things that maybe aren't within what you want, right? Okay.
I have a problem. Well, I have that problem too. But I also have a problem with being caught up in my own, I'm going to make this happen, instead of just allowing things to happen for me. So getting stuck at a job that's hourly instead of like doing things that I know I have the talent to do, that I could just be making freelance kind of a thing. But I haven't taken that leap of faith into the abundance of it, because I feel like, no, I'm fine here. I'm comfortable here, even though I'm living paycheck to paycheck. But I get a paycheck, you know what I mean? So that is, I think, my problem.
Okay, so it would be, we need to magnify that trust in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so part of that is saying, okay, you're ready to take, risks, and to believe in yourself, to trust, to know that you're not going to fail, right? And see what happens that way, A little bit also on that is your value and your worth that we need to work on. And what I mean by that is knowing that you can create and do. And so it's interesting that you feel like you're forcing things in some way and that you need to allow a little bit more. But I would argue that you need to still put that intention of what it is that you want, but maybe it's getting clearer on that, putting energy in that direction, and then allowing the rest to happen, right? And so there's an interesting dance and manifestation where you have to be clear on it and put energy out, but you can't be so fixated on it that you don't trust. Right? And that's what happens for most people. They get so worried about something that they think over and over and over and again. And on a level, that means, you don't believe it's going to happen, or you don't think that or you feel that there's something that's going to go wrong, and you want it to happen in a way that you want it to happen, right? And so that over controlling, or that area, if you were just going to plan a vacation and you booked an airline ticket, you don't like question it every 2 seconds. You just know that you're going to go, right? You know, so like when we put in that energy and that effort, you do that and then you let it go, right? Okay.
I'm so sorry, I get a little bit
Oh, no,
behind.
that's okay. There was somebody else walking in, but they didn't make it in anyways. Yeah,
Okay,
but.
yeah. Can you just rephrase the question one more time for me?
Okay, so I'm looking at where do you have blocks and obstacles in your life that are in the realm of prosperity and abundance, and you could be noticing patterns that you can't seem to break, right? Like living on your means or different things like that. That doesn't matter how much. You could be making this much money, or you may double that or triple that, and you're still living out of the means, right? And so like there's a pattern there, right? And then sometimes people have these blocks, or like in your friend's case, the trust, right? So there's a desire to do different things, but no action to actually do that. The rather stay in the comfort zone than live in the extraordinary life and create your own life zone, right?
Okay, yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I kind of understood. Okay. Cool. Right now, I feel like I am trying to do too many things. And like the little things are adding up in my life, and so I feel like I'm not spending time on things that I tell myself I'm prioritizing. Like I tell myself, oh, I want to prioritize, A, B, and C, but then I get caught up in all the other random stuff in my life, and I don't actually prioritize those things.
Okay.
And that's been kind of weighing on me right now.
Okay. So doing what you say and saying what you're going to do, right?
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of times that can trickle into confidence and trust, right? And, we say that we're going to do something. If we hold ourselves accountable, that builds our confidence in what we do, right? It can be something as small as saying, I'm not going to do this for the day, or I'm going to show up at the gym, or I'm going to call this person back, or I'm going to get through this list, right? But every time you don't do those things, it's a really big negative ding to your unconscious mind. And it's a lack of there comes a way that your mind or your thoughts start to hold no value to your inner self. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so I always like to challenge people, when people set goals, especially at the beginning of the year, some people go so crazy. They're like, I'm going to work out 7 days a week, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to quit sugar, and I'm going to da. And it's like, you're doing such a disservice. You can do all of that and you can gear yourself up to it. But what if you just started saying, I'm going to go 3 to 4 times a week, and I'm going to cut down on some of these things. You might end up being there 7 days. You might end up not eating any sugar. You might end up whatever the case may be. But if you tell yourself one thing and then you don't hold on to your own accountability, it starts to bring your self-confidence down exponentially every single little thing, right? And then you start not to trust yourself. So let's try outside of here to create small measurable things and look at when you are doing goals and things like that, that you're doing it like that. Okay. What's going on in this corner? Besides Chewy. Yeah. Chewy's manifesting. He's trying to, says, Mom, I want you to take me to lunch.
Yeah. I'd like more abundance of joy, happiness, and love, even when I'm just kind of just alone. Not looking for external joy, love, and happiness, and being able to create that abundance for myself without whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's so important that we have joy. And part of the abundance of joy is being present, right? And if you're present and you're in that space of I'm aware, you can find and activate like this childlike understanding where you're so intrigued by everything. I always say that if there's boredom in your life, or if that means that there's something wrong that needs to be fixed internally, right? Because there's so much to be curious about or be to at any different moment, that just enjoying that for what it is, right? And so we'll bring everybody back into the now a little bit. I think will be helpful.
I am having trouble being motivated.
Okay.
Motivated work-wise. I'm motivated in a lot of other ways right now.
Mm-hmm.
Motivated via self-healing and all that. Like that, I'm having zero problems
mm-hmm.
with. I don't know. Does that mean I'm just judging? I don't know.
So a level of a little bit on the judgment, and I would say we can definitely, and then if that's the last one, close the door. We're gonna start in a minute. Okay. And there's a level of twofold to that, right? Is we go through seasons, just like the earth goes through seasons. We go through different weather seasons. We go through different seasons where you, instead of looking at I'm not productive in this area, look at there's always a different aspect of our life that sometimes is pulled ahead and sometimes goes into hibernation, right? And if there could be just that going on, right? Where instead of looking and saying, I should be more productive, I should be doing all of these things, you can say, well, this is where I'm at now, and maybe there's a reason for it, because if you're doing a lot of self-growth, it's maybe like that energy, if you only have, like, let's say if you measure your energy units, you have 100 units of energy, and if they're all going towards this, and there's a lot of focus on that, then other areas of your life cannot possibly have that energy, right? Oftentimes you see this when you're in a new relationship or something like that. Your friendships don't get as much attention because a lot more energy is placed on that, right? Or if you're starting a new project or a new experience or something like that, that becomes so much of your time, you know? And think about that. It's like commonplace that if somebody's in med school or law school, you don't see them, right? You know, like, and it's like their energy needs to be focused on that. They're not really making money or working. They're focusing on learning, right? And so, and they might have relationships that are hindered, or they might not have any relationships because that's all they're doing, right? And so it's a combination of looking at that, but then also saying, what is it that can excite you inside that if there is a dullness of motivation, right? And finding that energy or that curiosity or that strength to pull yourself forward again. So I think it is a combination, especially in your position, but I always tell that to people first when they say I'm not motivated or I don't have energy to do things. I say, well, where are you progressing? And if it's just an overarching, there's no motivation, then we're clearing some depression and some fognation, and we're looking at some getting a spark back for life. But if there is effort and energy towards one vertical, then it might just be that another vertical needs hibernation for a time period to give that the energy, right? All right. Leo, what are you working through?
Transitioning into my new place. I just moved.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any blocks or obstacles in regards to prosperity and abundance that you notice?
It costs a lot of money, and there's a lot of kind of challenges as far as financial challenges that were going on, and those obstacles, and I don't know, some of my relationships I think are kind of have been affected not so much by the move, but just over the past year. I just kind of feel like, I don't know, my relationships are just kind of weird.
Okay. So it sounds like an overarching, maybe like adding some more joy, some more excitement, some more motivation and energy, and maybe some help manifesting. Okay. So with all of that being said, let's get to meditating. And so it's meditation with hypnosis, so guided. You'll go a little bit deeper at times than maybe a regular meditation. Sometimes you'll hear things that I say. For the purpose that we are looking at this for also reprogramming, I invite you to lay down, but if you're an avid meditator and you prefer to sit up, you can sit up, put your hands at your side. Yeah, I always find that a trick to keep my spine straight is put them as close to my hips as possible. But if you lay down, there's blankets, there's pillows, there's eye pillows, there's all of that stuff, and just get comfortable. We're gonna take you to outer space and back. I'm glad Chewy made it back to his position. He was ready on his own without me having to get him. He's like, all right, Mom, I'm ready. Manifesting a hike. All right, so as everybody gets comfortable, and for those that are tuning in at home, just allowing yourself to get into a comfortable space where you're not going to be disturbed for the next 30 minutes or so, and allowing yourself as you lay down. If you have your hands at your side, I just ask that your palms are face up. It's a receptive position, and we have little chakras in our palms, and it's our way of receiving. So if they're up, you're just a little bit more receptive. And as you allow yourself to just take a moment to take inventory of yourself, of being present to where you're at and in this moment right now, knowing that you took the time for you out of your day. And that's telling yourself that you're important, but there's also another aspect going on internally. You're allowing yourself to understand and realize that things can shift, things can change. And that you took that time and that energy to say, you know what, I'm going to take that step to show up for myself and understand and look into myself and realize I can change things about my life and myself. And that's the start of a process of releasing. And as you continue to allow yourself to rest here and to breathe in and to breathe out, taking time to notice yourself in ways that many times maybe you don't even pay attention to. Noticing subtleties in your body and the sensations of how you feel. Like, when's the last time you allowed yourself to notice the way that your soles of your feet feel? Or your toes and how your big toe feels very different than your little toe. Or your left foot versus your right foot and the differences and sensations that are going on. And continue to allow yourself to pay attention to different aspects of your body. Drawing awareness to your wrists or possibly your fingers, or maybe the way that your chest and your belly presses out with every inhale. And how when you pull and you breathe out and you exhale, how that belly and that chest goes back in. And noticing the magic of just breathing. Such a powerful tool that we have, such a powerful gift. Giving us the ability to live each and every day. But besides living and besides the air that comes through with our breathing, by controlling your breath, you can actually control your state. You can bring upon calmness. You can release stress and anxiety with every breath that you take. And you can allow yourself to breathe in a little deeper. You can allow yourself to breathe out slowly. And even imagine, maybe on the next breath or so, what would it be like to breathe in colors of energy? What would it be like to breathe in cool, relaxing energy? And you can visualize, imagine, or picture, or pretend seeing that air go into your lungs, expanding your lungs, and imagining that calmness, that relaxation flowing through your blood, going to every single cell, being pumped through your body by your magical heart. That works for you unconsciously, automatically, pumping life through you with every single moment that passes by. And the magic of you. And I want you to spend a little time appreciating yourself. From the soles of your feet to the top of your head, from the left side to the right side, noticing all of these different systems that come into play to create you in a unified energy, separate and aligned in so many ways. And the magic of how certain cells know how to be skin cells and other cells know how to be bone or tissue or muscle, fibers, whatever that is. But together, the system called you works to create these experiences in your life to give you this gift that sometimes we forget is a gift from time to time. We find ourselves so occupied within our thoughts thinking about what we need to do, what we have to do, or what we did in the past that we're analyzing or judging ourselves of, and we forget of the magic of just being, knowing that it's all okay. Whatever was, what is, and whatever will be, but in allowing ourselves to focus on the special gift of being present right here, right now, today. And so as you allow yourself to just for a moment Be amazed at the complexity and simplicity of yourself, of the magic of your existence and the operation of who you are within yourself. And as you pay attention to this gift of life that you're given, you might also notice that those thoughts inside of your mind start to dissipate. The what you have to do later on or what you did before starting to fade. And the more they fade, the more you notice a space in between one thought and the next. And if you pull yourself into that stillness, into that space, allowing yourself to find that energy of nothingness. And the more you feel that, and the more you allow yourself to understand that, to take that in and to breathe out, this calmness, this freedom, we're going to dive down inside of you. Into the center of your mind, into the center of you, can we shift and change and remind yourself of the magic of your life, that you can create whatever it is you want to. That all we're really doing here is living. And you get to decide how that looks. You get to design that experience. You get to create your life for you, but somewhere along the lines, we let ourselves off that hook. And we gave away our power to circumstances, to other people in our life. We forgot our worth and our value, and we made sacrifices and compromises. And then we made sacrifices and compromises for those sacrifices and compromises, and then those and those and so forth. Getting lost among the chaos of life. But in this moment right now, it's realigning you to yourself. It's reminding you of the magic of you. And the power of you to create and to do and to heal from all of the past that maybe still circles on inside. And that they're just stories and experiences that led you to now. And if you start to release those judgments, those resentments, those fears, those anger, that regret, you can start to see that maybe you're perfect just as you are right now. And that the experiences that combine to create who you are, that you learned from them, even the most painful memories in your past. Did you not learn? Did you not grow? Can you forgive and release? Not for them, but for you. So that you can start to live from a new sense of freedom, from a new sense of ease. And while we allow for this relaxation to continue to occur and you to pull yourself down with every breath that you take, one breath at a time and another as you continue to go deeper and deeper. And in a few moments, I'm going to simply count down 5 all the way down to 0. Maybe there's something magical about counting down. And you can allow yourself to challenge yourself. Every number I say, can you imagine what it would be like to go 27 times deeper, 15 times deeper, 55 times deeper, whatever that is for you to imagine today. Where you literally feel your body melting into the mat beneath you. Where you become one with the surface beneath you when you feel the sense of floating right here, like floating within a room. And you may notice that you start to feel this connection to everything and everything connected to you. As you allow this awareness to expand. This awareness of expansion allows for you to be more aware of you. And so 5 is a magical number. And as you feel this melting even more, this expansion even more, taking yourself down to 4. With a floating sensation that continues to grow. You may even feel for a moment that you're like a feather floating in the wind. And if you've ever watched a feather just float, getting caught up in a little tiny breeze, the feather blows and slowly goes back and forth. And as it does, slowly makes its way down towards the ground. And a breeze will come along and blow it back up again, circling through the air with this effortless art and flow. And then it makes its way going down slowly left and right once again. As you find yourself feeling the same way, with a floating sensation that takes you down deeper in these moments and this depth that continues to allow for you to awaken to your inner strength. And as you go, and as you melt away, and as you allow yourself to know that in this process and in this space and in this time and in this energy, with every moment, with every breath, let's just bring you a little deeper down to 3, deeper to 2, fade away. And as you do, you can let go of those worries, those concerns, those pressures, and those pains. The aspects that have kept you, held you down for long enough. Aren't you ready for freedom to ring inside today? To allow you to break free of the patterns that used to be. To start to tell a different story of creation from this moment on, where you are the artist of the canvas of your life, painting and creating whatever ways, as you allow yourself to just enjoy the process of each and every day being present to the magic of life, to the journey that you get to live, the story and the role that you are playing, leading, creating, directing, and writing. All of this is your life. Sometimes we give away our power and control, but not anymore. As you start to feel this energy inside, this energy of you, releasing the judgment of others, the worry about what other people think or say or feel about you. Last I checked, you're the only one seeing through your eyes, thinking with your mind, feeling with your senses. This is your story. This is your journey. It doesn't belong to anybody else, and it doesn't matter what they think is right or wrong for you, their judgment or their criticism, or how they view, love, or accept you. This is you knowing you and allowing you to live from this space. Your voyage, your journey, your experience, as you start to grab a hold of that with your inner strength. And they say, what do I really want? And the more clear that you get, asking yourself if you decipher all of the aspects that you see. And the clearer you get on what it is that you want to experience in this life, from the moments of each and every day, from the joy of just being alive. Imagine just for a moment that you woke up and every day you said, how could life get any better than this? With a smile on your face and a childlike wonder and awe in your mind as you're fascinated by everything and your ability to create. And the joy that every little experience, the love for the things that you do, as you start to allow yourself to fall in love with the story of your life, one that you're proud to live. And if there's things that you're not proud of, what can we start to shift? Who can we start to exit out of your life? What situations can shift and change if you give yourself power and control? If you are watching your movie of your life and you are seeing your story play in a big screen, would it be the story that you're happy to see? Are you living from that inner truth? Is that the screen? Is that the story that you want? Is that what you truly desire for you? And some things maybe yes. There might be a lot of yeses in that. But there may be aspects of your life, different elements of where you haven't trusted yourself, you haven't believed in yourself, but looking at yourself, you realize that you've been there for you through this whole journey. That you're constantly learning and growing, evolving and changing, that you're shifting, that who you are today is not who you were 6 months ago, 6 years ago, so forth, 6 days ago. And as you start to see, You realize that you can give yourself permission to be a beginner's mind in certain aspects of your life. That if life was like a classroom, and the different aspects of the things that you're learning or you're doing or you're achieving or you're going after or you're creating, if you looked at them like a class that you were taking when you step in on the first day of school, you give yourself permission not to know. You don't need to know because you're there to learn, as you're there to do and learn in life too. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to do it all perfect. In fact, sometimes when you get that graded test back and the multiple choice questions you got wrong, when you read them over, you learn it better the second time around. Actually, from getting them wrong, you learn what the right answer is. Oftentimes far more than the ones that you got right in the first place. So there is no failure when you start to see that any mistake is a lesson waiting for you, sometimes to give you even a deeper learning than you could have even imagined or knew. And when you start to realize that, you give yourself permission to quote unquote fail or make a mistake. And then if you pull that energy in, then you can be free. And you can say it's just a lesson. It is life. What if life was a game that you were playing and you were learning the rules as you go along in this journey? Like stepping in on that first day of school for a class that you want to take, giving yourself permission not to have all the answers, not to know and to make those mistakes. And to give yourself that for whatever it is that you're drawing into your life. And to say, I have permission to learn as I go. I don't need to have it all figured out. I don't need to do it all perfect or right. And that can be for love and relationships as you're learning yourself and what you give, what you want, what your boundaries are, what works and doesn't work. When you are trying to allow yourself to step into a new career or to manifest a new aspect of a project or to know your worth. You're learning. And just because something was, even if you had trouble budgeting in your past or allowing yourself to live beyond your means, it doesn't matter that you were learning. Now let's take that learning and say the past is not the present and it's not the future. That's for certainty. You can decide, are you learning? Do you take that lesson? Do you learn? Do you have that aha so you can start to do things differently? And you can say, where do I want instead? And I've already had these experiences down, been there, done that. Don't you want a different experience? Going to the same place, doing the same thing. I don't know about you, but it gets boring after times, right? Or gets old. Nothing's really boring. But allowing yourself to imagine what other stories can you tell, what other experiences can you allow yourself to imagine just for a moment. That you can manifest what is in that heart's desire, that you can live a different way. That you can bring in that prosperity and abundance, you can bring in that joy, you can allow yourself to create the things that you're longing to create. You can live in a different realm, you can allow yourself to create lasting abundance, you can continue to save more than you make. Save more than you spend. And you can continue this over and over. You can accumulate, you can create, you can expand. And so I invite you for a few moments to start to get clear. As your energy swirls in, and we're only at 3, we're going deeper and deeper, whereas you're floating away already. Allow yourself to magnify this energy of relaxation, to melt even deeper, to feel this wave after wave flowing through you. Down to 2. And as you go even deeper and you allow this energy to fill you, to know you, to get to this place of shifting. Of saying within a shift in your energy vibration, there's a ripple effect. You're like this, you are like a radio. If you imagine yourself like a radio, what you're playing is just what you're tuned to, changing that dial a little to the left, a little to the right, and a different station, a different type of music comes through. But that radio is picking up everything. It's what are you tuning into? What are you allowing to play on the station of your life? Is it struggle? Is it heartache? Is it anger, frustration? Is it pain? Or is it joy and expansion and love and bliss? All of the radio waves are going through the air. You have the ability to tap into whatever station you wish. And whatever you're having as a result is what you're tuned into now. But it's not what you have the capacity to tune into, the capability to tune into. You have an ability to tune into it all. And we can start to shift, and your life can shift in that same way that if you're driving and suddenly you don't like a song that is playing or a commercial comes on, you press a little button and suddenly something else comes through. That's the power that we have to change our own life too. And so it doesn't matter what has been the station that has been playing, maybe even for years, maybe even for decades. The capacity to shift, the capacity to change is in a moment, is in an instant, it's in a quick shift. And everything can shift. It doesn't take long to change. It's not a drawn out process to change. Change happens in a moment, in an instant, when you decide you're ready to change. It's getting you to the point that you're ready to take that leap that takes the time that people perceive as a long time to change. But you're here, and you're listening, and you're tuning in. So that tells me that you're at that cusp of allowing yourself to turn that station to allow new music in life to exist. And whatever vibration that works for you, but aren't you wondering just a little bit what else can be playing for your life? What other songs and tunes can come through? And dream big and allow yourself to see this vision of expansion beyond what you could even comprehend. Leave aspects of mystery. It's taking one step forward and trusting that the universe is matching you instead. As we go back to the radio example, if you trust that you turn the dial to a certain station, whatever that may be, you're trusting that the universe or the radio station is broadcasting that signal so you can receive. That's the universe. The universe is broadcasting the signals for you to have an amazing experience that you get to create as you pull that power back into yourself, as you pull yourself into your inner strength. So what do you say? Just allow your mind to toy with the ideas of the visions and the creations that you long to achieve, to get curious of these experiences that you want to create, and to release all of the old and say, that already has been there, done that, no more of that after today. Cut it, release, and allow yourself to see that this vibration of energy, that your whole life can shift in this moment right now or right now if you allow yourself to believe. It really is true. And that guiding force will start to allow for you to shift and alter, to create a new foundation. It might feel like a moment that it's like your life became a new blank canvas. It might take a moment to create the new artwork, yes indeed. But you get to create it. And every brush stroke, every color you choose, every shape you make is creating this beautiful work of art and masterpiece known as you. your story. And soon you'll be able to say, when you see an image and imagine an image of you watching your life on a screen, you'll be proud and say, this is such an amazing movie to watch. This is an amazing story. Look at the character lived and they loved and they allowed themselves to try. They went after the things that they wanted and they faced their fears head on and knew that they believed in themselves and they could. You're going to be able to tell yourself that and imagine that when you imagine your life. And whatever needs to shift right now to allow that alignment to be proud of the screen that you will see known as your life. And so go a little deeper and allow yourself to relax a little more. And with this wave after wave of relaxation flowing through you, getting clear on the things that you long to bring forth in your life. Trust, confidence, joy. Being present to what's around you, being loving and kind and generous on yourself, that not every moment of every day we need to be productive or advance, that sometimes the stillness is just as much part of the advancement. It's letting things just rest. I mean, they say that sometimes in working out and athletes that they go a few days hard, but that rest day is just as important to building the muscle, to strengthening them, to allowing them to get to their goals and to achieve what it is they are going after. The day of rest is just as important as the day of progress. And they all play together. As you start to have some loving compassion for yourself, for your life and where you're at and where you're going, as you see it clearly beyond yourself. And you look into the horizon of possibility. You look into the horizon of infinite potential, where you have every key that you could imagine to every door you wish to go through. It's all there. It's always been there. We just sometimes get distracted and confused. We get caught up in the details of our life or finding ourselves giving our power away to other people and situations and circumstances that we're so caught up in them that we don't listen to us. That's right. Let go. And allow your mind to tell you stories, visions, insight into you, into your heart that beats, into your chest of what it is that you really want, what it is that you would love to experience, what is coming through. And in a few moments of silence, just allow that clarity to come through. Let go. Let go. The more you allow yourself to get clear on the things that you long to experience, the things that you want, the life that you are seeking to create. With clarity comes energy, and energy comes reality. And it's a process towards manifesting, because when you want something and you know you truly want it and you desire, you will find a way. It's like that saying that has been there for such a long time. Where there's a will, there is a way, and that is true. It's allowing yourself to get clear on the will of your life, and you will find a way to experience these wonderful aspects, to feel and to live from this state. And reminding yourself you've already been there and done the past. You know what that is like. Let's allow for you to get excited for this new. And say a new story, a new book is waiting for you to create. That's right. And the more you feel this energy of empowerment, of truth, the more you feel this as you expand, and this expansion comes from in you. Breathing in, breathing out. Wave after wave after wave of relaxation, truth and empowerment and trust, and allowing that vibration. Let go. Let go. In a few minutes, I'm going to be waking you up out of hypnosis. But before I do, allowing yourself to just go a little bit deeper. So each night, regardless of the day and regardless of the emotions that you've experienced, when you decide that it's the right time to fall asleep at night, allow yourself to fall asleep deeply and quickly, sleep well through the night. And those early morning dreams, what are known as venting or releasing dreams, venting out any remaining blocks or resistance, any tension or stress. Vent it all out and let it go, so you can wake up each and every morning feeling refreshed and rejuvenated and ready for another day. Ready to enjoy your life. To create and to know, to get clear and to allow. And reminding yourself that every day you're creating the story that you're proud to see. As you find more inner peace and joy in just the moments of the magic that exists at every turn. And reminding yourself of the magic of you, even just being you, and all of your uniqueness and complexity. So at 0, going even deeper. At 1, closing the door to the unconscious mind, making sure all the suggestions are locked in and effective. And at 2, becoming aware of the room around you. At 3, a total sense of positivity floods through every cell. 4, becoming aware even more. And 5, eyes opening, wide awake, coming back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Slowly making it back into your body. You can move your hands, you can move your toes a little bit. And as you allow yourself to slowly come back into your body, just feeling presence of you. That's right. And you can slowly make yourself back up to a seated position. How's everybody doing? Into the galaxy and back. Any questions, comments, anything before I turn you loose into creating your life? Nothing? All right, just smiles. All right, well, be gentle on yourself for the next 24, 48 hours. Things are processing, things are releasing from your energy. You're going to get probably some ideas or creative sparks of, oh, that would be fun, or this, or man, I would imagine what that place would be like. And so jot some of them down, because remember, your thoughts are fleeting, right? And so if you get those ideas, don't let them get buried into your unconscious mind again. Pull them out, write them down, so that, because you're going to be in a state of more your truth for the next 24, 48 hours. But then life sometimes has an ability of re-hindering us, right? It's like if you're feeling all nice and warm and snuggly, and then you step outside and it's like a blizzard out, you get all cold again, right? So you're going out into the blizzard of life with all of these other different triggers that go on that force us into our old patterns because they're our known reality, right? Whether they're conversations, friends, people, experiences, even when we go into a certain place, sometimes you can go to a certain restaurant or a certain, place, and you always want the same drink, or you want the same thing, or whatever. And it's like, you could have not even thought about that. But the moment you walk in, it's anchored into you that that's what you always do when you're there, right? And so you have all of these outside anchors. So they're going to try to pull you back into your norm and your homeostasis, but you're going to fight that. So like get clear on some of the things so that you can exhibit and go out and do new experiences and activities, and further push yourself into the new you instead of repeating the old you. Okay? Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.